Hello, my amazing Algebra Half students. This is Mrs. A, and I love math. We have another fun lesson today. We're doing lesson 17, all about rectangular area. So here we have a rectangle that is 4 units long and 3 units wide. So this whole section here is about area, and area is the space that is covered when we think about the floor of this 4 by 8 room. So we're going to just pretend this is a room here, and we're looking for how much carpet we would need to cover the floor of this room in square feet. So when we think about area, it's coverage. We're saying how many units of square feet would we need to cover this 4 foot by 3 foot area. Okay, so it's a rectangle, but we think of floor area when we're planning to lay a rug. So it's hard to think about it when you don't use the word area, but I'm defining the word area, so I really shouldn't use the word. So this is 4 feet. And this is 3 feet. So we have a small room, 4 feet by 3 feet. And we want to know how much carpet we need to lay on this floor in this small room. So we're going to figure out how many 1 foot by 1 foot squares, okay, we're going to need to cover it. Now, carpet is usually sold in yards, but right now we're going to pretend it's in feet squared. Okay, so we can have a square of any unit. We could have a foot by a foot, and that would be a foot squared. We could have a yard by a yard, that would be a yard squared. We could even have an inch by an inch, and that would be inches squared, or a centimeter by a centimeter, and that would be centimeters squared. So can you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, altogether I have 4 times 3, or 12 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The number of the squares is going to be the length times the width. So 4 squares times 3 squares gives us 12 squares. And if I take off and I just say 4 feet times 3 feet, then I wind up with my units being square feet. Because this is, if it's 1 foot on one side and it's 1 foot on the other side, and it's a square that is 1 foot by 1 foot, this is called 1 square foot. Okay, so each one of these is 1 square foot. So altogether we have 12 square feet, and we got them by multiplying 4 feet by 3 feet. So that's just a brief intro. Now, let's look at another picture. Now, on this picture, I have 6, we'll call them inches. It's a little big, but we have 6 inches. So this is 6 inches. And then across the bottom, I have 4 inches. And we're trying to find out how many square inches I have on the board. Okay, well, we're going to count them in a minute, but 6 times 4 is 24. And guess what? I have 24 squares on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 6 times 4 is 24. And if each one of these little distances here was an inch, then this inside, the coverage would be 24 square inches, because each one of these boxes is an inch by an inch, and it's a square. So this little box here would be 1 square inch, and altogether I have 24 square inches. And so if we were going to say how many square inches would I need to cover this rectangular board, I would need 24 because 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, so hopefully you have gotten to where you understand that if we have a rectangle and we're looking for the number of squares that it's going to take to cover it, we're going to always do length times width. Of course, it's understood that we have to get the length and the width into the units that we want these squares to be. Okay, if we wanted our squares to be an inch by an inch, then we need to use length and width that are inches. Okay, if we want our squares to be yard by yard, then we should have our length and width in yards. Okay, so here we have a little conversion problem here. This is example 17.1. All right, so they start with this problem and they said, okay, we have 3 feet by 2 feet. So it's not hard to figure out how many square feet we have, because we could go ahead and draw our boxes, and we have 6 square feet. But what they want to know is how many square inches do we have? And our original units were not in inches. So we're either going to have to convert 6 square feet into square inches, or we can do it a little bit easier by just changing our original 3 feet into inches. Okay, now we know that each foot has 12 inches. So if I changed 3 feet to inches, I would multiply by 12. So this is going to be 36 inches. Okay, and then this one down here, 2 feet times 12, would be 24 inches. So now that I have my length in inches and I have my width in inches, then it's easy to find square inches. So this is what I got for square feet, but now let's do the same problem in square inches, because that's what they wanted. So remember the 36 and the 24, and let's go to the new board. Okay, so we have 3 feet is 36 inches, and 2 feet is 24 inches. So if I want square inches, I multiply the length times the width in inches, and I'm going to get 864 square inches. So if you want your area in square inches, then the easiest way to do it is to turn your 3 feet into inches and your 2 feet into inches and just do your math in inches. And later on we will talk about other ways that you could do that, but right now this is your lesson right now. Okay, so now we're going to go to a board that's going to be like your practices that we're going to do. We have this very cool, interesting figure. It could be the shape of a building. So we have 4, 6, 12, 2, 4, and we're going to find the area. Now we're going to find the area in 2 different ways. The first I'm going to do, we're always going to make rectangles, but here I'm going to chop the building so that I have a rectangle and a nice long skinny rectangle. Okay, so we're trying to find the area. In this one it says find the area in centimeters squared. Okay, so we're going to pretend that that's 4 centimeters and that's whole thing is 6 centimeters, and that's 4 centimeters, and so forth. Everything is in centimeters, and we're trying to find the area in centimeters squared. We're going to do this 2 ways. We're going to divide it this way and figure it out, and then we'll erase that and divide it right down here and figure it out again, because we have 2 options. We might as well see if they match. So here we have 4 across and 4 down. Now this 6 goes all the way down here. So I'm going to ignore that one and use this one, because this is the measure of the length of this little triangle. So 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so now if this is 2 over here and this is 2 right here, and then this is 4, that does give me the 6 altogether. So 2 times 12 is 24. So 16 plus 24 is 40 square centimeters. Okay, so we did it one way and we got 40 square centimeters. Look at that board real carefully because we're about to do it again. Hopefully we will get 40 centimeters squared again. Okay, so now we're going to leave everything the same, but we're going to take this line off. We're going to go ahead and take this one out and this one out. Okay, and we'll go ahead and take our math. We'll just put 40 square centimeters here, and we're going to see if our second answer matches that one. Okay, so we're back to normal. We're going to divide here. So I'm making one long rectangle here and a long rectangle there. So now we're going to use this side of the rectangle to get our length. 6 times 4 is 24. And then over here, this was 12 all the way across, but this up here was 4. So if this is 4 and this whole thing was 12, isn't that 8? So 2 times 8 is 16. So 24 plus 16, oh, we got it. Once again, we get 40 square centimeters, and we should have got the same area twice because we did not change the area. We just changed the way that we divided it. So now we're ready to take the time to do our practice problems. Okay, so we're going to do this 2 ways also because we're just getting used to this. So now we have this figure. Notice some of these sides are not labeled, but how long does this side have to be? Well, this side has got an up of 2 and an up of 2, so therefore doesn't this side have to be an up of 4? It's going up 4 steps, but we're going to do this in pieces, right? So the first thing we'll do is we'll divide it lengthwise, and so this one, rectangular box, so this is the whole base here, but this part here is 2, so that part right there is 2. So we're going to have 2 times 4 is 8. And then we come over here to this little one, and since we have 4 here all the way across, but we have 2, and then we have another little bit, doesn't that have to be 2 plus 2 must equal the 4? So this is 2, and this is 2, so 2 times 2 is 4. So we have a few little missing things that we have to reason out. So now that we have 8 plus 4, we have 12 square units. Okay, now let's do the same problem, but let's change our orientation. So we're going to take this little dot off and erase those, and we're going to make it go over here. Shouldn't we still get 12 square units? Let's see. So this rectangle here is now going to be 4 times 2 or 8 square units. And then this one is 2 times 2, which is 4 square units. So 8 plus 4 is 12 square units again. So that was practice A. And I forgot to tell you to pause your video. So next time I will. Okay, so this on our big board is practice B. So I want you to copy down practice B out of your book. And then I want you to pause your video. Okay, so that's a 4, that's 3, that's a 3. That's not spoken about, but doesn't it have to be 4 because that one is 4. So this distance down and this distance down. Remember, they always tell us that these are right angles, even though mine definitely does not look very right. They're right angles. And so 3, 3. If this is 10, and that's 2, and that's 3, then that means that this part here is 3, and this part here is 2. So this part here is going to be something different. So we're going to have to take that into account. And we have several ways that we can do this, and we're going to do this 2 different ways. So I want you to find it out first. Pause your video. Okay, the first way that we're going to do this is we're going to take this as one very long rectangle, and then we're going to take those 2 towers as rectangles themselves. So we're going to have the little dotted lines there, and then we'll change the configuration and do it again. So since this one right here is 2 times 3, that's going to be 6 square units. This other tower over here is 3 times 3, so that's 9 square units. And this one goes 4 all the way down, but this part is 3, so doesn't this have to be 1? And then again, we can check it by this one's going 4, but this one's 3. So that has to be a height of 1, that long triangle there. And then we had 10 as the whole distance here. So we're going to have 10 times 1, or 10 square units. So 10 plus 9 is 19, plus 6, 25 square units. So we did it one way. So now we're going to erase our lines, erase our values, and go back. And this time, let's bring this down like this. We're going to do it a different way, just to check our work. So now this long side is 4 and 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. Over here we've got 3 times 4 is 12. And then this is no longer 10, because remember the whole line was 10, but then the 10 take away the 5 means that this little part is 5. This was 1. 5 times 1 is 5. So now we've got 12 plus 5 is 17 plus 8 is 25. So we get 25 square units yet again. And that is B. And do them a couple of ways so that you can see that the way in which you break up that figure is not going to make a difference in its area. So here we come with the last practice. All right, so this one is practice C, and it is a very interesting figure. So why don't we do it the first time by cutting there and there, making this one big rectangle. So on this side, we've got 2 times 8, which is 16. And then let's see what the figures, if that's 8 and this whole thing is 12, then 12 take away 8 is 4, isn't it? So this little part down here is 4 times 12 is 48. And then over here, we've got a 4 height and 5 across, so that's 20. So we have 20 plus 16 is 36, plus 48 is going to give us 14. 4 plus 4 is 8. So we have an 84 for a square area. So let's just put that there, 84 square units. And now let's go back and do it a different way. So we'll erase that, we'll erase that, we'll erase that, we'll erase that, and that, and that. Okay, so now let's do it this way and this way. Okay, so now we got one big long rectangle. That is 12 times 2 is 24. Then over here, we have 5 times 8 is 40. And this one is 5 across and 4 deep. So that's a 20. So now we've got a 60 plus a 24 is an 84 square units again. So it's always in square units, and they're just telling us that the dimensions are feet on this one. So this would be in square feet. So we always have to look and see what are the units, but it's always in square units. And that is the end of our lesson. And you need to go do your homework on lesson 17. And I hope you've enjoyed this section as much as I have, because I enjoy area. This is Mrs. A, and may God bless your day.